Hey, my beautiful people, welcome back to the channel. So I want to go ahead and jump into this video. It's kind of an interesting video for me. I hope it is for you guys too. This subject has kind of been floating around for a few years now. I've been seeing it. And yeah, I want to go ahead and talk about it. So most recently, Only One Jess is a girl that I follow on here on YouTube, and I've been following her for years, but most recently she's been doing like different types of videos. I know in the beginning she was just doing like natural hair tutorials and things like that, but most recently she's been kind of doing different types of videos, and this one really caught my eye. It's a subject that is near and dear to my heart. I have some real life experience regarding it, and I wanted to go ahead and just talk to you guys about it. Sisters, brothers out there, you guys know that we love story time, right? We love hearing the testimony, the things that I've gone through and experienced, and this in particular is something that I have experienced firsthand, and I want to go ahead and jump into it. So the question whether or not your wife or your mother sits in the front seat, right? Who gets the front seat? That question is ultimately asking who comes first in your life. Who is the most important? Who do you give the most respect to? And before I answer what I believe is true, I want to go ahead and just talk about something that I have experienced myself. I was previously married. I am now married to my soulmate, but I was married to someone who I was not supposed to be married to. And so I am a divorced married person. And I have experience dealing with a man who did not put me first, that definitely put their mother first. So let's go ahead and just talk about that. When I was dating my ex-husband, he made it very, very clear to me that his mother came first. I remember one day we were in our dating relationship and I was driving home from work. I'm on the highway and I get a phone call from his mom. And so I'm thinking to myself, I'm excited because one thing that I always pray to God about, I always ask God to give me a mother-in-law that was just a wonderful woman. That was a sweet woman, a woman that I could form a relationship with. I desired a strong mother-daughter relationship with my mother-in-law. My biological mother, like my real mom, we are very close. We're like best friends, but we kind of lack that mother-daughter relationship. And I think that has a lot to do with my childhood. There was some time spent away from her, and I think that kind of messed up that bonding moment. And so although we are very, very close in friendship and motherhood, I love her like a mother, I respect her. We don't have any like real issues, nothing like that. But I've always lacked that bonding or bonded mommy-daughter relationship. It's just always been a kind of a void there, and it's been like a really quiet void, very, very quiet, very subtle. But I could tell that it's there as I've grown in the Lord and I've learned about inner healing and things like that. So I know that there was a void there. And so I wanted that with my mother-in-law. I wanted it to be very seamless. I wanted my mom-in-law to be a mommy figure to me. I wanted it to be a nurturing environment. And I just wanted a good relationship with my mother-in-law. And so when I saw that phone call coming, I was really excited. Guys, I literally was like, oh my gosh, like, what am I going to say to her? Like, I'm so excited. And I answered the phone. And she seemed very, hey, how you doing? And I'm, talking to her. And before we got really deep into any type of conversation, she told me something. She said, yes, well, me and blank, not going to mention his name, but me and let's call him, I literally was going to say, let's call him Saul. We're going to call him Saul. If I get rebuked for that later, I'll take this out. But we're going to call him Saul. So she said, well, Saul and I have always had a really good relationship, a very, very deep and close relationship. I speak to him every day on the phone, sometimes a few times out of the day. And that's never going to change. And I'm like, I said, okay. I said, well, The one thing, and if you guys have seen my list video, that'll be right there. I said, well, the one thing that I asked God for is for a husband who was really close to their mother. And I said, so that's a good thing. In my ignorance, I saw that as a good thing. It wasn't a red flag. It should have been, but it wasn't a red flag. And so, lo and behold, the relationship was just as she said it was. She talked to him every day, sometimes a few days out of a week. Sometimes a few times out of the day. And we had many arguments about his mother. When we would get into an argument that was not related to his mom, he would be on the phone with her. And I remember one day he was outside of my bedroom screaming and yelling at me and telling me how no good I was. And I was just in the room hugging my daughter, calming her down because she was afraid and screaming and crying. And I remember just rubbing her and comforting her and telling her it was going to be okay. I locked the door and he could not get in. He's banging on it, and I hear him talking to his mom. And he's like, Ma, she won't open the door. And I'm tired of dealing with this. And she's da-da-da-da-da. And I told her she's never going to find a man like me. And blah, 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 blah. And she's on speaker. And I hear her. And instead of calming him down, telling him to not talk to his wife the way he is, telling him to not put fear in a little 5-year-old, 6-year-old girl's heart, she was telling him, well, what's wrong with her? What is she doing? Tell her I want to talk to her. I want to talk to her because she can't be acting like that. And blah, blah, blah. I don't remember what I did. I did something apparently. And she said, and during that time, I had just told him that I was pregnant with our daughter. And he asked for a paternity test. And it just made absolutely no sense. It was on no grounds. It was just, he said it afterwards, years later, that he only asked for a paternity test to hurt me. But he asked for this, and his mom is on the phone, and they're literally both arguing with me on the phone. And she's telling me how bad I am and how, my daughter, my oldest daughter at the time, was not going to be anything, and she was going to be a teen pregnancy and all types of things, and how that he should get a paternity test. And a lot of our issues were around her. She permed her hair. I didn't. I kept mine natural. And I remember he telling me that I need to perm my hair. And he didn't like my natural hair. He didn't like it. He said that it looked undone. Because his mom's hair was beautiful and it was flowy, and you need to be more like this. That's ultimately what he was saying. And I remember at the end of our relationship, I remember one day I flipped out. This is when we were separated, right before we got separated. I think like the weekend before we got separated. We were arguing. He was yelling at me, and I was in the room holding my daughter, and she's on speaker. And I got fed up. I said, you know what? You need to marry her. You need to marry your mother. You are married to your mother. You're not married to me. You're married to your mother. I said, you guys are going to have a wonderful life together. And unfortunately, she was married, and she was married to his stepfather. And that man got no respect. No respect in that relationship. He was completely overlooked as the man. He was weak in many ways. And it was a sad situation. And I feel sorry for him. I really do. Looking back on that, I really do feel sorry for him. She wasn't married to him. She was married to Saul. Now, in that relationship, there were many times where he would tell me straight up that my mother comes first. He told me that in the beginning, the middle, and the end of our relationship. He made it very clear. There was no hiding it. It was very clear. My mom comes first. And when we did get in the car together, now that I'm thinking about it, she did sit in the front seat. Naturally, personality-wise, I'm a very accommodating person. And so I just automatically let her sit in the front seat. I knew that it was going to be awkward if I tried to get in the front seat. And I didn't want that tension of like me trying to get in the front seat and her being like, and then I'm looking at him, and it's just a whole thing. So I just always got in the back seat. Now, although I've had a really bad experience in my previous marriage with my mother-in-law, so I know you guys are already going to ask, so I'm just going to go ahead and answer it. Me and my current mother-in-law are like this, okay? I call her mom. She's everything to me. She is absolutely wonderful. From the very minute I've met her, she's only been real, only been sweet, only been just absolute blessing. And I have so many moments with her that just surpass my expectation. Why am I getting emotional? Because I'm a crybaby. It's okay though. I've embraced that about myself. But she surpasses my expectations. The prayers that I've prayed and asked God for years for my mother-in-law, it is no surprise that Satan would have sent me someone who would completely just contradict everything that I was believing in God for. And now that that is over and the Lord has blessed me with the real, right? That was the counterfeit everything. He was a counterfeit. His mom was a counterfeit. His family was a counterfeit. Everything about him was counterfeit. And so now that I got the real and what was always ordained for me, it is unbelievable how wonderful it is. And I never want anyone to feel like I'm saying my life is just so great and everything is so wonderful. I'm constantly dealing with battles and things like that. But when I tell you that there is nothing greater, there's nothing greater than to be in God's perfect will, to be in his perfect will. And so my mom-in-law now she's just so wonderful. She's so wonderful. She edifies me. She prays for me. She cares for my children as though they were her own. There is no difference. She loves my kids tremendously. I mean, talk about spoils my kids every single time. She lives in South Carolina, but every single time we're on FaceTime, I'm like, Mom, what is that in the background? And she's like, oh, just some more clothes for the kids. Oh, I found some of this. I mean, she engulfs them with things. She engulfs them with love. She engulfs them with prayers. And, I can't ask for anyone better. She is a wonderful woman of God. She loves me. She loves her son. She cares for us. She stays in her place. She minds her business, but she loves and prays for us. She edifies him. She has created this wonderful, wonderful man of God that I am privileged and honored to call my husband. I mean, she was a single mother. She is strong. She's hardworking. She's faithful. I mean, I am just like in love with her. She is wonderful, 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 absolutely wonderful. And I can tell you now, if we ever needed to get in the car together, I think we have gotten in the car together. And she sat in the back seat. Before I even got to the car, she was in the back seat. And I can tell you now, we would have fought for that back seat. I would have fought her tooth and nail for that back seat. Not because I thought that she was more important than me, not because I thought that she needed to sit up there with her son, but because I respect her. And I know that she wouldn't even want the front seat. That is just her personality. That is her character. She is humble. She's not prideful. That's why she's a mother to a humble man, because she's humble. And so her humility wouldn't have even allowed her to take the front seat. That's not even her personality. She knows that this is you and that man. That is you two. This is your car. This is your husband. I take the back seat in this situation. Not that she's less important than me, not because she doesn't deserve the same amount of respect that I do. There's none of that. But in this situation, in this union, in this family, you and your husband come first. And I am here to support. And support doesn't need to sit in the front seat. Support sits in the back seat. Support takes the back row. I'm here to be there whenever you guys need me. That's the posture that she sits in. That's the posture that I would sit in with my children. Will I try to sit in the front seat with my son and put his wife in the back? Absolutely. Sitting in the front seat with your son and putting your wife or putting his wife in the back, it's only a physical depiction of your actual relationship. If I am a husband and my wife is in the back and my mother is next to me in the front seat, it is symbolism. They don't even realize when these debates are going on, it all boils down to symbolism. Symbolically, you're saying it is me and my mother, and my wife takes the back seat. I put her on the back burner. She comes second to my mother. And I don't care if you are Christian, atheist, Hindu, whatever you are, you should not believe that your mother or your father comes before your spouse. Yes, it is a biblical concept because it is all founded on the Bible, but it is a biblical concept that you leave your parents to cling to your wife. Yes, that is true. We all know that is to be true. But it is also a moral thing. It's like, why would I think that it's okay to put my mother or my father before my wife? It's a thread that will follow you throughout your whole entire relationship. It is a thread that will show itself. It's an issue that would show itself in every aspect of your relationship. Because not only are you putting your wife or your mother before your wife, best believe you're putting your job before your wife. Because your job is not as important as your mom. So if your mom is up here and you think that your wife is going to be here, no. Your mom is up here. Your job is right here. Your siblings are right here. Your children are right here. Your father is right here. Your boys are right here. Your sports is right here. And then your wife just gets whatever's left. Best believe that's the case. And that was the case with me. I didn't come second to his mother. No. His mom came first. Siblings, car, whatever else. Everybody. The guy at the grocery store, his tax professional, everybody came before me. So the fact that my husband put me in the back seat while his mom sat in the front seat was not the issue. And it's not the issue when you're seeing it on Instagram and Twitter and all of these different things. That is not the issue. Look deeper than that. The issue is that the wife is in the back seat. It matters not who's in the front seat. The fact that you think it's okay to put your wife in the back seat says everything. It says everything. It's a mouthful. You're saying everything. You're saying everything about your love for her, your respect for her, your adoration for her. All of that is said in that one little instance. Who's sitting next to you in the front seat? So once again, it has been a pleasure to be here with you guys and to do yet another video. I am on a roll, okay? Y'all don't have to give me more props. I'm giving my own props. I am doing very, very well. I'm so proud of myself. You guys are giving me more props too in the comment section, so I do appreciate that. I am trying to push out these videos as much as possible because there's so many things that I want to talk about. I have literally like 3 other videos in my phone. I put them in my notes section, but I have like 3 other videos in my phone that I've written down and I'm just like, oh, it's just in me. So I'm going to actually sit down and do another video right now. I'm not even going to change outfits. So I don't want to hear it. I'm just going to, you don't need to do all that, right? When the word of God needs to come through, it needs to come through, okay? And so I want to go ahead and do another video now, but I want to go close this one. I love you guys so much. Do me a favor, thumbs up this video if you agree with me that your wife gets in the front seat, or if you are the wife, you get in the front seat. A husband should always put their wives first. First, even before your children. Your husband should put you first. As a wife, your wife should put your husband first. And this can be reversed, okay? I hear everyone talking about the wife or the husband, what the husband does. If the husband puts the wife in the front or the back, what does the wife do? There's many wives that put other people before their husbands. I've had to learn how to not put anybody before my husband. My husband comes first. My children don't come before my husband. My friends don't come before my husband. My parents don't come before my husband. I have to be very, very on purpose. I have to purposefully put him first because he is such a humble man. He's such an easygoing man. He doesn't require much. And so he can go a very long time being placed on the back burner. And so when my kids are not feeling well, or if there's something going on where they need more of my attention, I have to be on purpose to say, okay, wait, hold on. I've been neglecting my husband. Give me a second. You know, y'all got to go over there for a minute, okay? So I have to be on purpose doing that. But the same goes for him. Nobody goes before him. If I'm driving, best believe Raphael Adams is on my side, okay? At all times, never fails. So yeah, into this video. I love you guys so very much. You guys are my friends, my family. I love you. See you later, and I will see you in the next video.